Hey, what's going on guys? Oscarmini here, and today's video is a comparison between the TECNO Camon 15 from this year and the TECNO Camon 12 from last year. We'll touch on the differences, how they perform, and also whether you should upgrade your device if you own the predecessor. I have timestamps to different sections of this video and my final verdict in the description box below. And so without taking much of your time, yo guys, let's get started. Unboxing is the first thing we talk about when we get new devices, and these smartphones have similar sized boxes, with the Camon 15 coming in at an ever so slightly taller box, but this time in blue. Taking these boxes apart, you get the basics from both of the smartphone boxes: the warranty card, paperwork, micro USB cable, a 6-watt charger from the Camon 12, while you get a 10-watt charger from the Camon 15, and also a TPU case from each of these boxes, more like the regular accessories. Now let's move on to the design of these devices. Here is the older Camon 12 to the left, while I have the Camon 15 to the right. From the 12 down to the Camon 15, we still have the button placement situated in the same position. That's to say the right side with the power and the volume rocker, while the left side houses a dual SIM tray with a dedicated micro SD card slot. The bottom side houses the down-firing speaker grills, micro USB 2.0 ports and not Type-C, the mouthpiece opening, and the 3.5mm jack ports. Where things change a whole lot is the front, with the Camon 12's display size at 6.52 inches with a drop notch, and the Camon 15 comes with a 6.6-inch display which has a punch hole type notch. We'll get into those in a bit. Flipping these devices to their rear, the Camon 12 on one hand has a triple camera setup, an LED flash, and a circular design biometric sensor, while the Camon 15, although still maintains the various positions of the camera and the fingerprint sensor, even with the shape, it comes in a quad camera setup this time, which I'll also talk about in a bit. Specs on the display for the Camon 12 is 6.52-inch LCD panel with a resolution of 720p. You also get a water drop notch, while the Camon 15 has a slightly larger panel, coming in at 6.6 inches and the same resolution of 720 and a punch hole notch. I consumed media on both devices extensively and came to the conclusion that they are basically the same in terms of quality. For size though, the Camon 15's display is a little bigger, but that isn't really noticeable. Also, the audio coming off the speakers of these two devices tend to sound alike. The good thing about going with the Camon 15 would be the whole punch-styled notch to the corner, which is less of a distraction to a lot of people. I'd basically give these two devices equal points here, so let's talk about the performance on the smartphones. As always, here's a quick specs overview for both devices. We pretty much see about the same specifications for the Camon 12 and the 15, both coming in at 4GB of RAM and 64GB of internal storage. Both of these devices run on the same octa-core chipset, which is the Helio P22 processor, and the performance is about the same. Although I did notice a slight improvement in performance with the Camon 15, and even the display response lag from last year isn't something we have to stress on this time in the Camon 15. I think it all owes to the better optimization of iOS this year, and probably the Android 10 OS we have on Camon 15 also, as opposed to the Android 9 Pie from Camon 12. Check out this quick speed test on these devices.
I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk. Gotta keep quiet, maneuver in silence, then let them in, chalk up their body, another one body, that's just how it go. I got some secrets, I'm shaking the game so they stay on their toes. Stay in your lane, how to stay on the go.
When the Camon 12 was announced last year, it retailed for 48,000 naira, but I think due to the exchange rate right now, you would get it for about 60,000 naira or $150, while the Camon 15 retails for 73,000 naira, which converts to $185. That's about $30 for a better battery and camera here. Speaking of battery life, the TECNO Camon 15 is a clear champ, no doubt. It comes with a 5000 mAh battery as opposed to the 4000 mAh battery you get from the TECNO Camon 12. Also, you get a 10-watt charger with the Camon 15, which charges relatively faster than the 6-watt charging brick within the Camon 12's box. The Camon 12 has a 16-megapixel selfie camera and a triple camera setup at the rear featuring a 16-megapixel main lens, 8-megapixel ultra-wide, and a 2-megapixel depth sensor, while the Camon 15 has a 16-megapixel punch hole front-facing camera. a quad camera setup at the rear with a 48 megapixel computed main sensor which shoots in 12 megapixel and 48 megapixel modes, a QVGA for low light which is a new addition this year, 2 megapixel macro lens, a depth sensor, and also with an LED flash. From the photos, the color reproduction on the front-facing camera have similar looks to them, the only difference being the better details from the Camon 15 and a little truer to life images. The rear is where you begin to see some differences in the cameras. Even though the images here tend to have about the same level of detail, you for sure would notice that the Camon 12 has a lot of processing going on to brighten the images, while the Camon 15 is truer to what you see. The Camon 15 also does better at handling low light photos, even without the low light feature being turned on. As far as the portraits go on the smartphones, the Camon 15 is a clear champ with better quality images. It in fact makes images coming from the Camon 12 look a little washed out. For videos, both smartphones shoot at 1080p for the front and rear cameras. So for the better camera setup, the Camon 15 is the better device to pick. So here's a recap of the major differences between the Camon 12 and the Camon 15. The Camon 15 has a 16 megapixel punch hole camera, which is less obtrusive when compared to the 16 megapixel center or water drop notch from the Camon 12 from last year. You get better photos from the camera system on the Camon 15 and can shoot up to 48 megapixels as opposed to the 16 megapixel max from the Camon 12. The Camon 15 wins in the battery department with 5000 mAh battery as opposed to just 4000 mAh battery on the Camon 12. Display and processing are basically the same on these devices, but you would notice a little improvement, and I think this is also the fact that you get Android 10 on the Camon 15. So clearly, if you want the better all-rounder, you can't go wrong picking the Camon 15, as it is a better device in terms of the camera and battery life. But if you already own the Camon 12 and you are considering an upgrade, just bear in mind that you would get a slightly better camera, better battery life, and a little switched up design. And there you have it, my detailed comparison video between the TECNO Camon 12 from last year and the successor to this device, the Camon 15 from this year. Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, share as always, and also do not forget to subscribe if you haven't done that already. Other than that is goodbye, and I'ma catch you in the next one. Cuídate.